So other will be joined. Okay, I will start now. Okay, so good evening, good morning to everyone. So first of all, welcome to all of you to International Dalit Media Days celebration program. So our dear chairperson, respected guests, participants, leaders, and other colleagues, namaskar. I'm Dr.B.R.Ambedkar from Nepal, and then I'm General Secretary of International Dalit Network. I'm speaking from the USA. Now I'd like to welcome you all on the International Dalit Media Day inauguration program. The Especially International Dalit Journalist Network was established in 25 April 2021 by journalists from Dalit community uniting networks of throughout the world. Most of the journalists in South Asia for the advocating for the right of Dalit and marginalized community. So today I'm very happy because we are inaugurating International Dalit Media Days, 31st January. Because of today or in 31 January 1920, Dr. Ambedkar started first newspaper Muknaik. So International Dalit Journalists Network consulting and communicating with several intellectuals, journalists, and activists. After that, we decided to celebrate 31st of January as a International Dalit Media Day. So that's why we have we are going to organize this program. So now we have participants from the different countries, especially journalists, leaders, and other social activists also. And then especially we have some speakers today. So speakers, like we have now very prominent, very famous leaders, and then like our more active leaders like Dr. Rajasekhar Bandrus, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Haryana, India, and then Milind, our small Board of Director, Ambedkar International Missions, and D.B. Sagar, President of International Commissions for Dalit Rights, and then Bina Palikol, Chairperson, Asian Dalit Rights Forum, Dr. Vishnumaya Pariyar, Governors, Commissioners for the Asian American Pacific Islanders, and then Professor Santosh Rao, and Aman Kamble, Awaz India, and Arun Kwate, Justice News, Lucknow, India. So we have some speakers, and the speakers will be speak 2-3 minutes on the issues. And then now, first of all, I would like to request to our Lakshman Malpally sir for the chair of these programs. Lakshman sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Then and then now I like would like to request to Dr. Rajasekhar Bandrus, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Haryana, for the inauguration speech for this. Rajasekhar sir.
Thank you, Ram, and thank you, dear friends. I am a consumer of information that is normally provided by you. You know, I can see great pioneers in the Dalit Journalist Network. Veena ji is one of them. I can see Aman Kamble is started one of the greatest focus channels with a small effort, and he has reached a big way. And Ram has doing his own way. Arunji has done his own way work. All our friends have contributed, Milinji, one by one, but we have come to a stage where we can really ascertain and really focus on the issues and take the network ahead. The issues that come across today are, I also spoke in the morning, when I further start thinking about them, is how to train, handhold the young journalists who are, and how to encourage them. one of the institutional setup which Mallepalli Lakshmaya ji has done in the Center for Dalit Studies. Aman Kamble ji has already started for a long time hand-holding the young journalists. That is one step which is very important to take the generation next ahead. The generation next today has a great thing in their hands called the mobile phones, the microphones. They can create their own channels through the YouTube network, or they can be YouTubers themselves. This is where the generation next can capture it. Of course, they would need little money. They would need to travel. But people who are driven by Baba Saheb's ideology, they go themselves and report. And today the technology has also created so much that you can create your own websites. So that is one aspect. The next aspect which I feel the network can look forward is expanding the network. There are in every state, whenever an incident has happened in any of the states, you can see the local Dalit journalists who may be paid or unpaid, they come out with information. So that is where the network need to expand within India and within the various countries in which Ramji is one of the pioneers. This is what I feel. But I am, as I said initially, I'm only a consumer of the kind of information which all of you bring in. And how in the morning I said how a Dalit journalist can be a leader of his own, of her own way, where they can bring in a social change, they can move the governments. The power of the journalist is all known. They can really move the government. They can get across to anybody and ask anything. And the other person is bound to inform. This is the power of journalism. This is the power of Baba Saheb. When it joins with the power of journalism, we create and bring in change. These are my initial words. You people are experts. I'm just waiting eagerly to listen to all of you. Thank you so much for the International Dalit Journalist Network for giving me this opportunity to be with you this evening. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, sir. Thank you, Rajshekhar ji. Rajshekhar ji inaugurated this day, International Dalit Media Day. This is the first celebrations of our organization. Another thing is we have to continue every year these celebrations on this day, International Dalit Media Day. I think I hand over to already Ambedkar told this is the occasion. Baba Saheb Ambedkar started Muknayak 1920 January 31st. Then after 3 years it was closed. Then he started 1927 Bahishkrut Bharat. Then it was closed in 1929. Then in Janata paper started in 1930. Then up to 1956 he ran that organization. Then 1956 he started Prabuddha Bharat. I think if you see the journey of the Ambedkar journalism, these are 4 stages, 4 papers gives us 4 stages: his thinking, his movement, his achievements. That's why he already told Rajshekhar ji, this journalism and media power is a very used to it. Today we have a meeting in Telangana state in India, in Hyderabad. We started already. They started our Telangana IDJN Telangana chapter. Then they decided to have a meeting, Telangana State Chapter Conference, first conference of IDJN Telangana chapter in March. I think they are very active today. I think nearly 200 journalists attended this meeting. I think it's a very good meeting. There's so many personalities came and addressed the meeting. The one pioneer, K. Ramchandramurthy, he was a 50 years experience in journalism. He is with us. from 30-40 years. Then Media Academy Chairman, Alam Narayana, TSPS ex-chairman, Higher Education Council Chairman, the Central University Dean, all those people came, and Professor Santosh Rawat from IFLU. This meeting went on well. I think we have to do in every state in India, in every country in the South Asia, other countries. I think you know all about these IDJN policy, principles, work program, all those things. I don't want to get into that. Today is the day of Dalit Media Day. Then before Ambedkar also we have a history. Some Dalit pioneers like Ayodhya started Paisa Tamilan, in Bhagirath Verma in Hyderabad started Bhagyanagar. Then Pule started Vasbandhu, like that one paper started. There is a history, but Ambedkar history is different from others because he is continuous concentrate focus on media and activity and politics and reading and writing and advocacy, whatever he wants to, whatever he can do, he did all those things in his life. That's why we choose this day to have a International Dalit Media Day. Thank you very much. All you came and blessed us. Please give your message and give your suggestions. This meeting will continue. I think in physical also, in as early as possible, we can have a IDJN first conference. We have to do in India or Nepal or Bangladesh, which country, whatever, whoever they are ready to do, we can do that in physical level, in physical thing in all our participants. We are requesting all other. I welcome to Bilindu Osomal and Pawarji and Binaji and Rajshekhar ji already he spoken. Arun Kote, Aman Kamble and Santosh Rawat from IFLU University Hyderabad. The Vishwakarma Bitu, Biru Nepali, Sita BK. I welcome all those things. Please your support and your you are giving a very good moral support to us. I think I request to Rem Bahadur to coordinate this meeting. Thank you very much. I am hand over to Rem Bahadur.
Thank you, Chairperson Malpali, sir. So now I'm going to start like our guest speech sessions. Now I'm going to start from the Arun Kote. So I like to Arun Kote, sir, for your speech. So, Arun sir, you are on the online.
Otherwise, you can ask Aman Kamble. Arun Kote is there.
Oh, now I like to request to Aman Kamble. He's the India TV for your speech, sir.
Aman,
sir.
He's coming out. He's in another meeting. Okay, you are okay.
Aman, mic is on. Yeah.
Aman, okay. Please speak. आवाज ज्यादा नहीं है.
Hello.
Arun आ गए.
Hi, this is Arun Kote.
Okay, you
Yes,
can
sir.
speak.
So, good evening to all, and would like to thanks you all to join this meeting. And though this is a great day, being it is a ever Dalit Media Foundation Day, which is being started by Dr. Ambedkar, and now we are carrying forward that legacy of Dr. Ambedkar. Now, I wanted to raise few very important things, that how to establish our own media houses, not by one, but many more. As we know, there are Indian Institute of IIMCs there and many more other institutions which have due to the reservation, they are producing many more journalists, but they do not getting any opportunity into the mainstream media. Now, the reason that none of the Indian media having social justice desk within their establishment. If media houses will compel by any way or any properly system, if government will introduce there to establish a social justice desk, that will create some space for the Dalit issue and for the other vulnerable sections. And we need to raise this demand before the government, not only in India, but to the other countries also. The second, we have a SCP funds, TSP funds. We have to raise demand to give government have to give sanction appropriate funds for the media fellowship and to establish media houses. This is two demands I am raising from long since 2012, and these are very much important. We have to look into this. The fourth, as of now, that Rajshekhar Anna has already mentioned it well, that now we have a quantum of a YouTuber and other individuals who are very, very strongly raising the issue of media. Now, what is important that it is being recently in a program at Arundhati Roy, she has raised this. That still all those journalists are not very much properly clear in terms of perspective of Dalit, as well the ideology of Ambedkar. So they are also following the same lines which is being already taken up by the mainstream media. How to focus their approaches into the Dalit issue, that is very much important. So we have to think over how to develop their approach and perspective. That is very much important. These are the 3 points I wanted to raise. And I think so this needed to be discussed, and we have to strategize ourselves so that things will be coming out of, over the time in a more proper way. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Arun Kote sir, for your valuable speech. And then now I like to request to D.B. Sagar. He is the president of International Commission for Dalit Rights. Now for your valuable speech, sir. I like to request.
Thank you, Ramji. Jai Hind, everybody. Good morning, good evening. So, first of all, I would like to appreciate all of you, and then establishing Media Day, Dalit Media Day. That's a good and great initiative, I would say. Second, I would stand with you, not only myself as an individual, but also the organization, ICDR International and its allies, to support promote the power of media. So these days, media is one of the crucial instruments to expose the discrimination and also to provide and litigate, advocate for the justice to the victims. Therefore, we as a ICDR, from the ICDR perspective, have started providing fellowship for Dalit journalists in South Asia. It's been almost 2.5 years. I see that some of our fellows are here. So our goal is to not giving them a kind of the issue, what they would like to do, but we would like to do, but giving them a resources so that they will be able to explore, go into the, on the ground and get the more issues and expose those so that the victim could get justice. Third, we have started a kind of podcast talking about the media power and the exposing and globalizing the issue about the Dalit rights. So these are the issues, I think, interrelated. Media is very essential. As Arunji said, I think I believe it. We could look into that possibility to have a kind of strong media empire. So this is not just a social activism, it is also, let's take it from the social enterprises perspective, how we can enterprise our media hub to sustain it itself, not just asking for money, but also sustaining and empowering our journalists on the ground, how we could be a first reporter, how we could be a first presenter of the issue around the corner, both at the local level and the international level. So ICDR is there. I would like to join the solidarity if there is any plan of action for the bigger media hub. We would like to be part of that. Second, I would like to suggest is the incorporate the pioneer of the social justice activists around the corner. It's a globalization period. So we need to look into the pioneer who have been working on the case around the corner, and so that this voice would be more solidified, more comprehensive, more effective, rather than the targeting one versus another locality or nation or the geographic area. So this is a global issue. That's where we are talking about. We always say that the caste or Dalit right issue is not based on the one particular country versus another particular country or locality. It is a global issue. When it comes, the Dalit issue, people would like to easily represent or acknowledge that this country or that country. It is not like that. It is a global issue. That's why if you could see the US policy right now, this is a great achievement. When we started in 2008, there was no one was ready to understand what is Dalit right means. But if you see today, right now, is a US foreign policy, there is an official endorsement and recognition of Dalit rights. And US foreign policy has officially funded the organization saying that they would promote the Dalit rights and their freedom in caste-affected country. Right now, they started from Bangladesh and Nepal. So this is a great achievement. We have been marching almost a decade to endorse, recognized by US policymakers. And this is another accomplishment. Right now, you could see around the corner, because this is something that our policymaker can take, or our media can take and expand this message across the country, because it does make difference. It does make difference when the US policymaker, when the US foreign policy assistance system has officially recognized this issue for their policy, foreign policies, and particularly in the South Asia or caste-affected country. We should capitalize this opportunity. We should capitalize and start educating the local policymakers, saying that, look, this is the foreign policy coming from United States or USAID or Foreign State Department. That amount should go certain percent to this particular group, and that include the media, promoting media, democracy, rule of law, justice. So that's where I would like to suggest. And one more thing I would like to also it's a part of the kind of accomplishment. What we accomplishment, that also matter. If you look into, for us, from the ICDR perspective, we started educating the US foreign policies and State Department, not only State Department through the UN mechanism. They have officially started promoting Dalit rights using the US mechanism, US platform, UN platform. You could see from their perspective, they can go and easily talk and negotiate with the government of the South Asian nation or the caste-affected country. And the USAID, officially, the US foreign policy and the implementing actor, has officially endorsed and recognized the caste as a development metric. So these are the information I think we should include. I would like to, again, appreciate Ramji and then the team, the International Media Network. I would like to also appreciate all of you. Again, I would like to echo that we need a more powerful media entities that can provide the more effective information and sustain as well, not just providing, but being sustained as well. And for that, ICDR will stand with that. And then also, I would like to encourage, we are going to open for 2023 fellowship, where we would like to provide some resources. It may not be huge, but it would be enough to engage one particular issues and areas to explore. Many media entities, particularly run by Dalit, could be benefited using that fellowship and engaging their reporters or their media workers getting that fellowship. With that, once again, thank you. I might have to leave, but with solidarity and support and stand by. Xavier.
Thank you so much for the DB Sagar sir for your valuable speech. And then now I'd like to request to Melanj ji, Melanj, the Board of Directors, Ambedkar International Missions.
Thank you, MG.
Yeah.
Dear friends, Jai Bhim to you all, and also best wishes on this very auspicious day. International Dalit Media Day. It's very rightfully called on this day when Baba Sahib embarked on his journalist journey. And I think that journalism by Baba Sahib Ambedkar is the foundation of the movement that the result of which we are, the society has progressed, and we are here in this conference. I would like to point one fact that when Baba Sahib started his journey in Maharashtra, there was hardly any other colleague that he had who could assist him in this journalistic work. And he had to do pretty much everything by himself because the community itself was so educationally backward, and it was deprived of any resources at that point. And today when I see that we have this international Dalit Media, International Dalit Journalist Network, which is a network of journalists all across the world, not just India or Maharashtra. It's a long way that we have come, and I think this is something that we should cherish. And it is an extension of what Dr. Ambedkar started in 1920 when he started Muknaik. I think media is very important today, and the speakers before me did touch upon that, so I will not dwell into those details. Media is very important by virtue of the fact that there is the media presence in everybody's hands, particularly social media. And what I think the need of the hour today would be to train and mentor how to harness the power of social media and how to make it to our advantage. And that's where I think our distractors and even people who are opposed to our movement, they are a step ahead. So that would be a great step forward movement for us to focus on that area. I'll just take a step back and talk about Dr. Ambedkar journalism. The reason why I want to touch upon that in today's time is that his work in journalism, which is Muknaik, Vaishkrut Bharat, and everything else that he wrote at his time, is so potent, is so powerful, is so wonderful, because when you read it, you establish a direct connection with Dr. Ambedkar. The journalistic writing is something that is meant for the people, those who were following him. Whatever instructions he had to give them, whatever guidance he had to give, it came from that medium, through his rallies and through journalism. So from that perspective, what he wrote 100 to 70 years back is so relevant even today that I really look forward to seeing that all that work getting translated in various local languages so that everybody can benefit from it, because it's still very relevant in today's time. And it also gives good amount of guidance as to how you should be placing yourself as an editor, as a media person, to face your opponents, to present your case, to mobilize your people. One of the things I think about Dalit media is that it can be a great unifier of all the different forces active on various different fronts across the globe in various countries. So I really would like to congratulate this initiative, and I look forward to being part of it, me and my organization, Ambedkar International Mission. We would like to extend any support that we can to see this initiative being promoted, and we look forward to working with you all. I thank the organizers, particularly Remji, for giving me this opportunity, and look forward to working more with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Milan sir for your valuable speech. Of course, we have to collaborate and support each other for the fighting caste-based discrimination and untouchability. And then now next speaker, I like to invite to Aman Kamle ji. He is the Awaz India TV. So Aman ji, I like to request you for speech. Hello. Hello, Amanji.
I
Are you ready?
think he went out. He is another meeting. That's why he came from that meeting. Okay, you can ask somebody.
Okay, now I like to request to Professor Santosh Rao for your valuable speech, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rem. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Well, I'm listening from another device. My computer is not working well, but I'm not echoing to all of you, right?
Now it's okay.
Okay. So, first of all, I heartily congratulate everyone in this meeting, and I would like to congratulate entire marginalized community, those who are ignored in the mainstream media, and thus the name Dr. Ambedkar has given to the very first voice he echoed in the history of journalism or media, called Muk Nayak. Muk Nayak, the word itself suggests that is the voice of the doom or the voice of voiceless. And I think this is the voice that world needs to hear than ever before. And there are reasons for it, because we are talking about the media. But in the media, we are also talking about the words that has been, or the voice that has been not heard. So it's a contradictory term, because there are mainstream media and there is marginalized media. So media itself marginalized where it has to be highlighted. And it has a perspective, is a very important word in between these two, mainstream and marginalized, because the mainstream doesn't give the perspective of marginalized or the oppressed or those who were not sort of heard. So that's the main problem we face whenever it comes to media. Secondly, media is all the time or always been sensitive. And why it's sensitive? Because it deals with the perspective that power wants to put before the people. And if it is not governed by the democracy or democratic values or on the basis of truth, we are also going to encounter contradiction not only in the media or news, but also in the society and making people's opinion. So media is not just about the news, but it's about the building up perspectives. And that's the vision that Baba Sahib has given us, or Dr. Ambedkar has given us, when he was sort of attempting to write for the people through Muknayak or Janta or Bahishkrut Bharat or through Prabuddha Bharat. I was in the program, and the International Dalit Journalist Network, why it has to form, there is a beautiful line has written that thus there is always a prejudicial news coverage in the South Asian media where there comes to the Dalit issues. So whenever it came to Dalit issues, it was already loaded by prejudices. So the projectors have already decided what they have to say, what they want to say. And that is what the need for such voice to be understood and to be heard by the rest of the world, because there are adequate communities, but not adequate voices or articulation or the perspectives. it's very important also to understand when Dr. Ambedkar was writing in the for the people, especially in journalism. I'm not talking about his intense and deep writing on various issues, but whenever he wrote for journal, whenever he wrote for public, it's very important to understand Dr. Ambedkar not only highlighted contradictions, he not only highlighted criticisms in the society or evil practices, or for that matter in the politics, but he also removed or tried to remove those contradictions by contributing towards the solution. So his writing always flows by highlighting problems, what is there, why it's contradictory, why it is paradoxical in people's opinion, and then what has to be done. So that's the always moral and the ethical perspective Dr. Ambedkar has followed throughout his writing. And therefore 1920s, the decade, has changed the entire perspective of Dalit movement in India, or probably all the marginalized people in the world. Though we are reading this Muknayak or listening what he has founded in the history, but that's the voice than ever before needed right now. That's what I understand it. Then we see the little bit of historical perspective, what was happening in Baba Saheb's time or Dr. Ambedkar's time. There were Kesari run by Lokmanya Tilak. Gandhi was running his Sarvodaya or Young India, his magazines. Savarkar was running his magazines or newspaper. Agarkar was running his magazines. So there was one perspective about the society, culture, news, politics, and contemporary issues were produced. And then the alternative has produced or the given by the great Mahatma Phule by running his own magazine and writings. And thus Dr. Ambedkar got influence or inspired and also establishes his legacy of journalism or in terms of media. And he gave an alternative or the another side of the story, which was often unheard or remain unacknowledged. That's extremely important to understand whenever we talk about media in terms of marginalization. The third point I want to talk, the name itself suggests the international Dalit journalist. Then what does it mean by international Dalit? The problems are highly contextualized. There are problems, various problems in various areas, various nations and the countries of various types. It can't be a uniform voice. Nonetheless, the perspectives that Dr. Ambedkar has given, the methods that Dr. Ambedkar has produced, and the ethical values that Baba Saheb has given are universal. And that can be applied to the every situation, may that be a black problem, means so-called black problem or other colored people, or for so-called Dalits, or marginalized or oppressed communities or African communities everywhere in the world. So Baba Saheb was writing in Marathi. Why now International Dalit Media sort of has to think at international level by celebrating Muknayak? None of the words in English or in Hindi. It's in Marathi. So what's the vision? Or what's the perspective that we are understanding? What we are understanding here, what Baba Saheb has given the methods in the particular situation that can be certainly universalized and can be applicable to everywhere in the world. That's the beauty, uniqueness, and genius of Dr. Ambedkar. So I won't take much time, but I would like to tell you only one incident where in 1920s, when Tilak said, what OBCs has to do in the parliament, Telis has to churn out the tel or the oil, it's their occupational job. What Chamar has to go in the parliament, what will he do in the parliament? Does he have to do the leather work? What Teli has to do, Kunbi has to do. Kunbi means agriculture land. Will they plow the kya kehte usko? Nangar? Plow in the parliament? or crop in the parliament is a very caste determined prejudices when we speak about the democratic representation in the democracy of nation. Then Dr. Ambedkar in Mook Nayak, probably second or third edition, he writes, what he writes, Ramanuja's guru was not a Brahmin. That's in Mook Nayak. He's not writing about history, but he's bringing a particular example. His guru was not a Brahmin, his guru was a Kambachi Purna, who was a non-Brahmin. Dr. Ambedkar has to highlight that point, that a non-Brahmin is a guru of a Brahmin. And then he encountered the woman called Chandalika, means the Chandala woman, means untouchable woman. And she said, he said to her, he said in Marathi, "He Chandal striye mala kshama kar, tu माझ्यापेक्षा जास्त पवित्र आहेस. You are more pure than my Brahmin disciples. And now you will go and teach and give a perspective to the Brahmins and the upper caste." That's the example Dr. Ambedkar cites in Mook Nayak. And he gave ordination in his sect and also installed her statue in temple. What is that statement or example then speaks through Mook Nayak? So Dr. Ambedkar is speaking in particularities, but universalizing the problem, which will be applicable and will touch to the every painful society in the world. That's the first point. Second point, the same guru, Kambachi Purna, who was a non-Brahmin, who used to take a Brahmin support by keeping his hand on his shoulder when he was taking a bath in the Nadi or in the river. And after taking bath in the river, he will ask an untouchable disciple to get support and let him go back to his ashram. Means after purification, he was taking an untouchable disciple for a support to go back to his kuti. That itself is a statement that Dr. Ambedkar cites in Mook Nayak. So this shows why then Baba Sahib has to counter the Brahminical or the upper caste forces that are bringing perspective in the democracy by caste names and caste occupation, where Dr. Ambedkar writes in Mook Nayak what Brahmins and non-Brahmins has to do to bring the prejudice-less perspective or the egalitarian perspective. So in that sense, it's very important to understand what Baba Sahib was trying to do even in the journalism or in media. His side is slightly less acknowledged. So that is very important to understand. My third point, probably the last point, intellectuals or professors, they are not there for journalism. Of course, they can contribute at very high level or great level. They can write the editorial pages and they can bring perspective. But journalists, the media, those who are intellectually involved or engaged and reading and bringing perspective is a direct medium to making a public opinion, which is very important and rather lacking terribly in modern times or in our own times. So we are living in such a paradoxical and controversial challenging times than controversial, challenging times where right perspective needs to bring before the people than ever before if democracy, the humanitarian values and egalitarian values has to sustain. That's very important to understand. And that's where I think the International Dalit Journalist Network can play a very vital role, and nothing can please me or democracy on this very occasion or the holiday when Baba Sahib founded Mook Nayak and spoke for the voiceless people. That ethical perspective, that moral perspective, which is humanitarian, egalitarian, needs to be highlighted, needs to be understood, and should be written by the people who are engaged in writing for the people. And I think I must congratulate Shri Lakshmiya sir and Rem Bahadur for this great initiative. I congratulate them for such a unique initiative in a very up time, very right time. And I think the values that Indian Constitution speaks or holds for the liberty, equality, fraternity, self-dignity, and justice, that can be sustained only by bringing perspectives on the basis of those values. And I very heartily congratulate everyone in this meeting. And I give my heartfelt greeting to all of you on this unique occasion. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak in this very acclaimed and accomplished honored gathering.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Santosh. Rem, after
Now-
Veena speaking, you can ask our other friends also, whoever Sita is there, Pushpa and Radha. Ask them if they will
Now
speak.
I'll call Pushpaji. Pushpa, now I would like to request to Pushpaji for the short remarks. Pushpaji, she's from Pakistan. And then I'll go with the Binaji. Binaji will be our last speaker. And within the 10 minutes, our program will conclude, sir.
What is the time? Time criteria is there?
Yeah, within the 10 minutes, so we'll finish we don't finish our program. So now I'd like to request to Pushpa Kumarji from the Pakistan. Pushpaji.
You can ask Radha from Nepal or Sita. Rem.
Yeah.
She has put in the chat, Rem, that she seems not to have audio.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise,
No
okay. Now I like to Binaji. Binaji, I like to request you for your valuable remarks.
After Binaji also somebody should speak. Then you can. You have a time limit or whatever. Rem.
No, it's okay.
Okay, Binaji, please.
Thank you, Lakshmi Garuji, Rajshekhar Garuji, Rem, and others who are here. And it's really great to be here on this August occasion. I was just listening to the brilliant talk by Dr. Santosh. Thank you very much. I think that is great analysis. Very interesting to listen to you and, bringing out about Baba Sahib and his contribution to Mook Nayak and to other media, publications, etc. We are in the middle. I think today was the first day of the session at the union here in Delhi. And we are in the middle of a budget session, and the budget is going to be presented tomorrow, the union budget. We are one of the few organizations that does analysis on this. And we were trying to contact the media. One of my colleagues was trying to contact media to cover the issues of the Dalit Adivasi budget. And nobody responded to us, not a single media, except for Mook Nayak, which is our own media, online media, and then one or two others who are Dalit Dastak and others who are our own media houses. And at that time, one of the statements that my colleague made was that no media is interested to cover real development issues. They're only interested to cover if we die. And for me, that statement stuck in my head because for somebody to make that statement, to say that, mainstream media will only cover, maybe even that they will not cover. But that statement stuck with me. And I was just, while we started this meeting, I was thinking of that statement, that how we have to create our own history. And to be able to create our own history, we need to promote and enable our people from our community to become journalists, writers, and so congratulations to all of you to start this. I think it's great that, media people of Dalit identity are coming together to have our own media and to write our own history. So I think that is great. The other thing is Oxfam has just come out with a report on the representation of Dalit in media. It's the Oxfam News Laundry report. where they say that 90% of leadership positions in all media houses in India, I'll talk about the India context, and probably this is similar to the other countries. 90% of the leadership positions in all media houses are only of the dominant caste, and there's almost negligible or no representation in the leadership or the editorial board. There might be a few journalists, but when it comes to actual leadership positions, there aren't. So these figures, after so many years of independence, we are still talking about representation in one of the pillars of democracy that actually holds this country together. So I think this initiative of bringing more people, into media and trying to encourage them is something that I think is excellent, and we should take it forward. I'll take one more minute and then I'll stop. Is that when Unnao happened, we know when those three or four young boys who were flogged because they thought that they had killed a cow, became sensational news. I won't use the word sensational, maybe that's the wrong word, but became news, international news, because the people who were flogging, they themselves took video of this, and that video fell into the hands of some of our community people, and they put it on social media and used social media to actually bring this whole crime and into the international, and then international newspapers covered it, national, and we created the huge furor over social media. And I think somewhere we have young minds who are willing to write, who are willing to use social media to bring our issues out there. I think this is also a platform that we need to encourage more and more of our younger people to come together. I'm also part of the Asia Dalit Rights Forum, and we feel that REM is a member of that, and many of them are here. I'm Bhakta also, I saw. And how can we as a regional forum promote this, and how can we collaborate on issues, on some of the issues through the media journalists, international media that we have formed of Dalits? I think today Baba Sahib would be here. He would be really proud to see this initiative. And I wish you all the best in any support, both from the National Campaign on Dalit Human Rights and the Asia Dalit Rights Forum. We are there. Thank you very much, and Jai Bhim.
Thank you, Binaji. So, of course, we'll be collaborate and work together for the Dalit rights from the globally. They're now uniting from the different sectors. So now we are going to conclude our programs. So our guest speaker and some participants, they are on the way, but we cannot wait a long time. So everybody has some short times. That's why now I like to request to our chairperson, Lakshman Malipali, for the vote of thanks and conclude the program, sir.
Sir, thanks to all who have participated, who have spoken about the program and their views. And another thing, Sabina rightly pointed out about the media response. I think I want to tell you in 2 minutes, media is a 5 C's. C, 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 C. C means anything it would appear in first page, controversy. That is a 1 C. The political controversy, economical controversy, whatever controversy. Second C, crime and sex. Accidents, events, murders, rapes, whatever this thing. Third C is a corporate. Fourth C is a cricket. Fifth C is a cinema. This is the media. Our Dalit issue will come second C of crime and sex. If murder, if rapes, whatever happened to us, they will cover. That is also their own 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever. If they are interested, they have a political interest, then an opposition party is there, this is owned by some other party. That is the whole things will come out. This is the thing we are seeing in, I am a journalist, 32 years, I am saying all those things in and out. Because of this meeting, we are taking one of the issues, rightly said in Milind, in the Power, even Bina, all those friends are coming forward. We have to do something. Definitely we have to do, but what we have to do, how will we have to go about it? Then we can think about it. We should develop our own media. Already in Telangana, Andhra, we have a 2,000, 3,000 people are in YouTubers, small papers and digital videos, all those things. Now we are gathering all those people. Then in Maharashtra also is there. Even Tamil Nadu also is there. Karnataka also is there. We have to find out in North India. Even Nepal already they have a Jagaran Media Center. Although we have to develop one this thing. One suggestion came to my today morning. One our very elder our journalist. He told we have to start one magazine on behalf of IDJN in international level. That is a home magazine or organization magazine. Then we have to collaborate, cooperatives. We have to develop cooperative system in our journalists also. We have to think about it. This meeting is the very beginning. I think this is the first meeting happened in Hyderabad. Today is the physical meeting. We have to, I told before this meeting, we have to start a physical meetings in different countries. We have to strategize in our program. Then we can go up it. Definitely within more time, we have to go a big way. That in that program we are we will ask all the friends to come together and we have to do further. Thank you very much. Again, I want to congratulate my own team and my Secretary General Rembaudur and all those friends. And thanks to Bina, thanks to Rajshekhar, Santosh, Pawar and Milin, all those Radha, Sita, Pushpa, Lakshman Damal, Babul Ravidas from Bangladesh. Thank you very much. Thank you, JB.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.